I'm Kent Morrell, as they said. I am running for state senate in a Republican primary against Dr. Briggs. I don't believe he sponsors and votes for good legislation. I'm going to go after you in a minute, sir, just so you know. I've known Dr. Briggs for years. We've worked together. I'm your representative here if you live in District 7 on the Republican Party, and I have worked hard to keep the party conservative. I am a freedom-loving Christian conservative. I believe in the right to life. I believe we must fiercely protect our Second Amendment rights. I oppose corporate welfare. I believe that if tax dollars are collected from citizens, we should be using those for the people, building and maintaining our infrastructure, our roads, and ensuring public safety. Your money should not be going into the pockets of billionaire businessmen and special interests. Here are my core commitments to you. I will work to protect the right to life. Life is a gift from God, and I will defend the unborn at every opportunity. I will defend the Second Amendment. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, period. Like I said, I oppose corporate welfare. I believe in parental rights. I believe parents, not the state, know what's best for their children. I promise to put Tennessee first. I will oppose any legislation that uses your hard-earned tax dollars to provide free college tuition or benefits to illegal aliens. By the way, Dr. Briggs didn't mention this, but he did vote to give free college tuition to illegal aliens and free in-state tuition at universities for illegal aliens. I will fight government overreach. I will stand against unconstitutional mandates and bureaucratic intrusion into our homes and our businesses. Too many politicians seem to be unfamiliar with the Tennessee Constitution and continue to propose unconstitutional laws every session. I support medical freedom. No government or employer should dictate your personal medical decisions. The legislature should stop practicing medicine and let doctors and patients make those choices. I'm for lowering our tax burden. I will fight to reduce the regulatory and tax burden on Tennessee's small businesses and families. No senior citizen who has paid off their home should lose it because they cannot afford rising property taxes. And I stand for traditional values. I will unapologetically protect our children, our culture, and our conservative way of life. I was born and raised in Tennessee. I've lived in Knox County since attending the University of Tennessee in 1988. I'm originally from Bristol. Came to UT in 88, never went back. So I've lived in District 7 for the last 38 years. My high school sweetheart came down. We've been together for 42 years now. We started dating in high school. But we moved out to Western Avenue, and now we live in Carr, so I've been in District 7 the entire time I've been here. We have 4 adult children. They're all married. I have grandchildren, which I'm very thankful for. Grandchildren are awesome. They're wonderful. I'm running because I want to preserve this great republic and pass it on to my children and my grandchildren. And honestly, Dr. Briggs, if you were more conservative, I wouldn't be running, sir. I would not. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. I just think, I'm going to get into some of your votes here in just a second, but I think your record is bad. You were consistently ranked as one of the most liberal senators we have in the state Senate. That's rated by the American Conservative Union, CPAC, Center for Legislative Accountability, the Freedom Index by the New American, and you repeatedly receive an F rating from the Tennessee Legislative Report Card. We must judge candidates by their votes, not their campaign promises. And sir, I think your voting record speaks for itself. In your 2014 Ballotpedia survey, you said you were 100% pro-life and 100% for the Second Amendment. It hasn't quite worked out that way, sir. In 2025, you co-sponsored legislation to legalize the morning after pill. Tennessee Right to Life actually revoked their endorsement for you. You actually said in an interview that the only reason you supported the trigger bill was because you never thought Roe v. Wade would be overturned. You have openly expressed support for Governor Lee's proposed red flag laws, which would take this into the Second Amendment, the freedom to own firearms, just because if someone says, hey, Dr. Briggs over here I'm concerned about him, and the police can come and take his guns. I'm not sure what part shall not be infringed upon is misunderstood here. You also sponsored Senate Bill 2125, which would allow children to be vaccinated without parental consent. I support parents' right to decide what's best for them. And as I mentioned, you voted to give free college tuition to illegal immigrants. And this is while Tennessee families struggle to afford higher education. 95% of your campaign contributions come from outside of our district. In 2023 and 2024, you raised $213,500. Only $500 came from Knox County. That was 2 donations, a $300 donation one year from a doctor or a lawyer, and a $200 donation the next year. So, sir, I have to ask you, who are you working for? I'm concerned about the input of special interest money. The first fundraiser you did last year in August was with your special interest buddies in Nashville. I got a copy of that invitation. You voted to give nearly $1 billion to Ford of our tax dollars. You voted to give $500 million to the Titans to help build their stadium. You voted for millions of dollars for the downtown stadium. I believe billionaires should fund their own projects. I believe if we have surplus of tax revenue, it should go back to the citizens. You know, let's cut taxes on groceries and help all Tennesseans, not just the billionaires. You have repeatedly blocked bills to cap property taxes. One of the things I hear when I'm door knocking is concern about property taxes and how it's hurting people. And in Nashville, it's killing businesses right now. If you follow what's going on in Nashville, they've raised property taxes so much that they're saying 50 to 80% of the businesses that have property, small businesses in downtown Nashville, will go out of business in the next 2 years. During COVID, you wanted business owners arrested that wouldn't close their businesses. And then when the sheriff wouldn't do that, the next year you sponsored legislation that would have forced sheriffs to enforce city council and county commission mandates. I'm going to go to an article, a new Sentinel article from back during COVID during 2020. Here's a quote from you. One of the things I've heard some of the leaders say is they want to protect civil rights and the Constitution and the freedom of its citizens. You said, I think the most important thing political leaders can do when we have epidemics is to protect the health of the population. That sounds great. Another thing you said is, I'm an old military guy. If they've given an order, then the order needs to be enforced and carried out. You said, Knox County Health Department should forcibly close businesses, such as Knox Wholesale Furniture, that defy mandates from local and state officials. The title of this article is, GOP State Senator Richard Briggs, a surgeon, says lives matter now more than freedoms. There's a Benjamin Franklin quote I'd like to mention. Those who give up essential liberty to purchase a little safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. So when we have politicians telling us we should trade our liberties and our freedoms for some temporary safety, that should be a red flag, friends. That should be. And that is Dr. Briggs' attitude. Voted again to make sure the governor could shut down businesses just this past session. Voted against a bill that would have prevented the governor from forcibly closing businesses and telling us what to do with our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we deserve better. Dr. Briggs has been there for 12 years. He has 12 years of record. You can go check it. I've got a whole website about his legislative record, truthaboutbriggs.com. It's just his legislative record. I told Dr. Briggs last year, sir, I don't have to go negative. All I have to do is talk about your voting record and things you've actually said. And I do appreciate your service, sir. So I would say this isn't personal, but honestly it is. This is very personal to me. I'm asking for your support, your prayers, and your votes. Together we can bring true conservative leadership back to the state of Tennessee. You can learn more about me at sendkent.com. I would love to have, if you've got any political contributions you'd like to make, I'd love that. Dr. Briggs has 10 times more money in the bank than I have. But as we saw in this last election, where Larson J. outspent Betsy Henderson by 5-1. I think we're going to do it this time, sir. I do.